It's Mark 7 auto drive time, this time on the Dillon RL 1100. Gavin Gee here from UltimateReloader.com. Here on Ultimate Reloader, you've seen Mark 7's awesome auto drive packed with technology on the Apex 10. This time we're going to take the same technology and apply it to the RL 1100. I'm going to start by getting this baby out of the box. So here it is, the entire box contents for the auto drive kit that covers the 1050, the Super 1050, the RL 1100, and the CP2000. Of course, we've got the auto drive itself, the primary mechanical and electronic assembly. We've got the included tablet, the tablet holder, the tablet mount, an SD card. We've got the pulley. This is the pulley on the opposite side is the smaller pulley and the corresponding rubber drive belt. We've got the cover, the main power cord, mounting hardware, cable management kit. We even have a sticker, Mark 7 Reloading 1050 Pro, and the instruction manual. So what I'm going to do next is to actually read the instruction manual, and I'm going to put this together. I might even get some help from the team. So I'll come back when I'm done with this and guide you through the process step by step. Well, the install is done. Check this out. I'm going to hit run here. This was actually a little bit easier than I remembered. If you have basic mechanical skills, you'll have no problem getting this auto drive installed. Probably as little as a half an hour or 40 minutes. I just hit end cycle there, depending on what level of detail you go to and if you run into any issues, which it's not likely that you will. Let me go over the install steps real quick. So the first thing is to mount the press. So I had a mounting plate. I took the bolts out and moved it over. There's two sets of holes, one set for the 1050 and one for the RL 1100 and CP2000. And so you just have to make sure that you get them into the right holes, bolt it down. Remove the handle is the next thing, and then the installation of the link bar and the pulley. The way that this works is there is a bar that goes through the hole that the handle goes through, and then the pulley bolts to that, and then there's a central hub bolt that kind of sandwiches the pulley assembly with the link bar to the hub that the press handle normally actuates. So there's a set of holes for the 1050 and there's a set of holes for the RL 1100, and what you want to check is just to make sure that since this is an eccentric, as the press is running, you have constant and proper belt tension as it's running as a final validation step. And that was the case here. And then once you get the belt over the pulleys, it's time to tension it. So there's two bolts that lock the motor in place and that are used to adjust the belt tension. You can insert the press handle in here and kind of pry. There's a pivot bolt here, and then the motor housing enables you to push the motor away from the press, which tensions the belt, and it should be tight but not too tight. There's instructions in the manual for that. So after that, and I have the pulley cover and the belt cover off right now, the side cover, so that you can see this actuate, but when I'm actually running the press and storing the press, I'm going to put that guard on. The next step is you can optionally remove the ratchet. The RL 1100 has kind of this one-way device so that you have to completely cycle the press. You can't short stroke it. And as long as you're careful while you're manually jogging the press, there's no reason to have this ratchet on there. It's going to actually quiet down the operation, just a little bit. So I decided to take the ratchet off, and then the cam bolt for the priming system has to go back on. That normally sandwiches the ratchet in place and secures it. Then it's time to mount the tablet. So it comes with this nice mount, and then you click the back plate into place and then use these fingers. Now the manual shows them holding the tablet on the side. I like them on the top and the bottom. There's different little fingers that slide into tracks on there, and you can decide how you want to orient that. And then there's all of the electrical connectors. So there's kind of a rear area here, and there's a side area that have different connections. So there's dedicated DC for the tablet that goes to the tablet. There's a USB connection for the tablet. There's a 9-pin connector and a USB connector for the motor. There is a 6-pin that goes to the side from the motor as well. And then there's your main AC power that goes to your wall outlet. Now, if I had sensors, I would also have places to plug those in, but I'm not currently using any. I might do a little bit of a follow-up on that. Okay, so that is really all there is to getting the AutoDrive installed and getting it roughly configured for the Super 1050, RL 1100, or CP 2000. It's going to be basically the same process with the nuance of some of those different bolt holes being used kind of as a substitute. So now that everything is running great and we've got everything installed, there's a couple more things to do. I need to install a Mr. Bullet Feeder to this setup. We had 2 prior videos showing this 223 setup, one with sort of a bone stock RL 1100. Then we added the Armanov aftermarket tool head that has the integrated light. I need to turn that on since I plugged the power back in. And yeah, the Armanov tool head is really cool. It uses these lock and load bushings. It's got the integrated light, and it seems to work great with this configuration. In this video, we're going to get the bullet feeder installed, and that obviously is an important thing with an AutoDrive since you can't set bullets in place. It has to be used in conjunction with a bullet feeder. I've also got some zip ties and anchoring points here for cord management, but I'm going to wait until we get the bullet feeder installed so that we can elegantly route all the cables together. If we had any sensors, we could add those at that point. Like I said, I'm going to start without them, and perhaps we'll do some follow-up video with sensors for this particular setup. And then making sure that we like how our load is set up and that everything is going to run properly. Then we'll load some ammo. So that's what I'm going to be working on next. So here's the machine set up and running full progressive with bullet feeder with the AutoDrive. I'm going to go ahead and do a single cycle for you. And so we can see bullet feeder's running, case feeder's running, the AutoDrive is working great. We don't have sensors yet for this particular configuration. And then we can also see here that we've optimized our components. We switched from N140, which is a stick powder, to CFE 223, which is a ball powder. And then we've also switched our projectiles from the 77 OTMs that I don't have a lot of to these Berry's 55 grain FMJ bullets, which I have a whole bunch of. We're still using the Federal 205 small rifle primers. Okay, so the AutoDrive is really great. We went through the setup and we took our top dwell and our bottom dwell down a little bit. We can optionally run sensors like I had talked about. We're not running those sensors. We can monitor how many rounds that we've made. We can set alarms for the different components, that sort of thing. And then we have different speeds, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 3,500. We're going to just start with 1,000 until we make sure that we really like how the machine is running. I'm not sure we're going to go a whole lot above that because the powder takes a while to drop, and we've got a very tall cartridge with the bullet just set in place by the Mr. Bullet Feeder, and we don't want it to swing off. So I'm going to double check. We've got powder, we've got primers, we've got cases and bullets. So go ahead and run and see how this is going to work. Pretty cool. And when we want to stop the machine, we just hit end cycle. Okay, so now that we're satisfied with 1,000 rounds per hour, let's try 1,500 rounds per hour and still see if everything is going to work correctly. So we just hit 1,500 and run. See what that's going to do. First time I've tried this. Bullets aren't flipping off. That's a good sign. That looks like that's going to work pretty good. Nice. Okay, so we hit end cycle, and that's going to stop the machine again. So there you go. This is a great auto-driven setup for the RL1100 with the Mark 7 auto drive. Remember, this can be used on the 1050, the Super 1050, the RL1100 like we've shown here, and the CP2000. So if we were going to do high-speed case processing or even case conversion, those types of scenarios, this would be a great setup. And of course, with this same auto drive, one of the popular things to do on RL1100 would be like 9mm, 40, 10mm, 45 ACP, all of those pistol calibers. We decided to do 223 because this is a great load. We needed to load more ammunition, and that's what we had the RL1100 set up for. Now, if you want more information about the Mark 7 auto drives, this unit is very similar to the unit that I set up on my Apex 10, and I have a whole suite of videos, some of which I co-presented with Mark 7 that go into much more detail about the torque sense, the digital clutch, the sensors, all of that kind of stuff. But what I want to know from you is, what else would you like to see with the auto drive for the RL1100? If you have specific ideas, drop a comment and I'll put that in the suggestion box. Thank you for watching. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you want to learn lucrative gunsmithing like what I show here on the channel, including building custom rifles and Cerakote plus a whole bunch more, you're going to want to check out the Colorado School of Trades, schooloftrades.edu. Thanks again for watching.